and gentlemen, and welcome to our evening news. The world is facing many issues nowadays. Issues with how our food is locally grown, issues with how our water is being treated, issues with how we are going to sustain ourselves once our fossil fuels run out. They are, after all, limited. So researchers and architects have paired up and created a sustainable city that will not sacrifice the quality of life for the present generations, nor will it sacrifice the quality of life for future generations. Let's have a look. In our city of Viki, food will mostly come from localized farms. However, commercial agriculture will play a small part in the food consumption of the people, just so that local farmers, do not become overwhelmed with the need to produce crops that agribusinesses dominate. Additionally, there's a multitude of benefits that come from localized farms. One, which is probably the main benefit, is that food will not need to transport thousands of miles, wasting so much fossil fuel in order to reach the inhabitants of the city. Additionally, with localized food comes farmers markets. Farmers markets are great because they increase social interaction within the inhabitants of the city, and overall, they enhance the entire well-being of the city itself. Lastly, with the reliance of locally grown food, that means that farmers could get a lot of profits. This creates more jobs that were once dominated by commercial agriculture.
What is a green space? A green space is a green area set up for recreational or aesthetic purposes in an otherwise urban area. Examples of green spaces in the city would be green roofs, park spaces, and marshes or wetlands. But many people ask, how would these green spaces be beneficial to an urban city? Green roofs are roofs designed to grow plants. Installing these multi-layer systems have proven to increase the air quality in areas such as Austin, Texas, as well as Los Angeles. These roofs have also increased the temperature insulation in many buildings due to the significant numbers of layers that are needed to create it. These roofs are also designed to absorb water and prevent runoff. Parks are spacious areas dedicated to trees and animals. They are pleasing additions to any city. Not only do well cared for and spacious parks look nice, but contact with nature is healthy to an individual's health and morale. Parks advocate healthy lifestyles simply by existing as a place for people to engage in physical activity. They also function as areas for social gatherings. The luscious plant life filters the city air and improves the quality of the oxygen. Wetlands are expansions of land that retain large amounts of water seasonally or permanently. These ecosystems provide shelter to a variety of rare species. Establishing wetlands in or near a city creates a beautiful area that can be used for recreational activities such as canoeing or kayaking. The marshy lands provide natural sponges for water runoff that would potentially flood local streams or river during heavy rainfalls. The soil of marshes create filter that purifies water that runs through it, which leads to our next topic, water quality.
Thanks, Meghan. I'm sure you're all wondering how we deal with our solid waste. It's a problem humans have had for centuries, but we have come up with the proper solutions that get rid of this waste completely. Finally, our last method is our sewage treatment facility. The first treatment is to allow solids in the raw sewage to cellulose suspension, forming sludge. The second treatment takes this sludge and uses oxygen and aerobic microorganisms, breaking down the organic matter and turning it into harmless substances. Then, the last stage removes large amounts of nitrogen and phosphorus, and this is called the tertiary treatment. A lot of people do not understand what we go through to take care of our environment every day. That's why we have many tours throughout our water treatment facility so adults and even children can take interest in our latest methods and technologies. The first method, the most natural, is our marshes. Resting peacefully near our parks, these marshes reduce the amount of any chemicals, waste, or toxic rainwater that may find unwelcome entrance into our city. With these marshes in Viki, potential polluted surface water is heavily reduced through filtration. Of course, marshes aren't perfect and can only withstand so much. Therefore, we have our water treatment center, cleaning our gray water and purifying any other usable drinking water.
also have a sustainable way to transport its people as well. This being said, no cars. Instead, a bike rental system will be in place, and bike rails for both rented bikes and owned bikes will be seen in a multitude of places on every single street. Buses in close proximity will be electric and be the main source of transportation, aside from bikes. Every other street will be for these electric buses. The streets between the ones for the buses will be for walking and bike riding only. This increases social interaction and allows for businesses to gain more customers. A subway system on magnetic rails underground will be the transport for people for longer distances. Locally grown food on the outskirts of town will be transported by designated buses from certain stops outside the city. Overall, the transportation of the city will be easy, efficient, and much more sustainable than the transportation seen in most cities nowadays. AP Environmental Science!
News today. Oh,
No!